I see this as representing my people, and I must not deprive them of this kind of opportunity. Coming to the topic of the day, well, we can look at security in the border community in two different perspectives. First of all, we look at it from the insecurity that comes from the incursion or from the Republic of Benin. And the second one is the internal insecurity challenges that we have in the border as a border town. Well, I'll be specific, given that I'm from Idiroko, and then I'll be speaking on the border in Idiroko. Well, I spoke about the inclusion, and this has to do with a lot of, you know, things that have been put together by the state government as well as the Republic of Benin government. Because prior to now, what we used to see is some people coming in, invading our lands, you know, taking motorbike from our people, vehicles, and then taking them, you know, across the border from all these illegal routes. You know, the proximity to the border is something else that we cannot talk about. We have a major border in Idiroko, but then there are different routes where people can get to the Republic of Benin. So they take advantage of all of this to, you know, perpetrate different illegalities. That has been said. So, but for now, I think that that is being, you know, nipped in the bud with the collaborative effort of the Nigerian government as well as the Republic of Benin government. A lot has been done in that regard, and that one is getting, you know, stepped down bit by bit. Now, talking about the insecurity in our own land, you see, it also, I can also categorize that into two. Because, first of all, if you look at from Owode, Yewa land to Idiroko, you discover that you have close to 100 checking points there. And we, for me, I term that as insecurity in security. Insecurity in security. We have security agencies, a whole lot of them, huge presence of them, but then what are they doing? That's the question. You know, taking advantages of our people. Somebody comes to Owode to get probably a biscuit that is sold for per carton 3,000 in Owode, taking it to Idiroko for business. And then you now have to pay through your nose because you have security agencies, you know, at almost every mile before you get to where you are going. So it's a very difficult one for businesses to thrive in our area, particularly because they see everything that comes, that is going towards Idiroko as it is being smuggled out. And these, they take advantage of our people. And to me, I think that the government really needs to do something urgently to arrest the situation. I remember when I was growing up, I think when I was around the age of 12 thereabout, there are only 3 checkpoints from Owode down to, not up to 3, I think 2 thereabout. Majorly in Agility, that is where you will see checkpoints.
Yes.
But what do you have today? You have a whole lot of them. You have the civil defense, you have the customs, you have the police, the DSS, all of them on that route. What are they doing? Collecting money from people. And we see this as, you know, high level of illegality. And that is why I term it as security. Yes, they are present, but what are they doing? They are practicalizing insecurity. So that is what I can say about that for now.
All right, let's quickly talk about one major issue, and that is the Niger Customs, who are saddled with the responsibility of checking these borders. Would you say that the Niger Customs are overwhelmed? And that is probably one of the reasons why they always have this unusual show of force, where sometimes, unfortunately, it leads to loss of lives.
Well, thank you very much, Toby. I thought that you will come to that angle from your questions. Well, it is saddening and disheartening that we are created and born in a border area. That is how I'll term it. Because what we see from the Nigerian customs, I must confess that they are not friendly to the host community. Idiroko hosts the border, Idiroko hosts their barracks and all of those, But then how friendly are they to us? What are they giving back to the society? All of these, are they really coexisting with the people? These are questions, begging for answers. I must confess to you that the Nigerian customs, particularly attached to that's area 1, Idiroko, thereabout, I can confess to you that majority of them are so, I want to be sure of my word here, they are so overwhelmed, let me use that, of probably the uniform, and particularly taking advantage of our people, looking at them as nobody. Because how do you explain this? For a trader that is living in Idiroko, that has to use petroleum product to ensure that his business moves on, and then we do not have that available around us. Probably, not probably, because of the government policy of the August 2019 that pronounced that all filling stations be shut down around the border area, and then be moved, that all that can operate should be from the 20 kilometers to the border. That's a lot of problem on our people. It gives us a huge, this has, culminated in death of so many young, vibrant people. And you see what? The customs, I said they are overwhelmed before I, delve out of that. You see, I was explaining a scenario of somebody that is, doing business and need petroleum product, to ensure that business keeps going on. And then they go all the way to Owode to get this petrol down to Idiroko. When they get to their shops, put 2-3 jerrycans in their shop, the customs go so low to go and ransack those shops and take, cut away with those, with four kegs of jerrycans. So what do you say to that? They are so overwhelmed. At some point, I discovered that some of them are not even qualified to be in the Nigerian Custom Service. So all of these, and you talk about how they ended up shooting and all of those. We have been part and parcel of that, unfortunately. Growing up while I was in the secondary school, Ikogetwe Grammar School to be specific, I remember vividly when I was in GS1, GS2, there are fracas, there are, quite a number of, face-off between the smugglers and the Nigerian Customs Service. At the end of the day, you begin to pick bullets, from the classes. So the implication of this is that one might just get shot unknowingly even while we're in the class. So yes, this has been, at least I can say that to some extent, some steps have been taken because recently their boss, that's the Controller General, came around and I spoke with him. I was part of the delegation that spoke with him. We have seen drastic changes in the killings of our people ever since then. But the issue of checkpoints is a major problem to our people. It is stopping our people from doing their day-to-day legal business. And I want to disagree with you on a point that you raised while you was, where you started the program. You said that a good number of illegal exit and entry points and all of those are where people perpetrate different illegalities. Yes, and then you also now said that majority of our youth, that they are dependent on that business. I want to disagree with all sense of responsibility. Ipoka local government people, we are not smugglers. I must, make that clear. Some of us are learned. Yes, in every circle or in every 12 disciples of Jesus, there's always the Thomas. Yes, that is understandable, but then we cannot now use that to generalize the whole.
No, actually, I was saying that some of them, I did not say all of them. A lot of them are also into different kind of legal activities.
Thank you very much for that.
Yeah, but you've talked about customs and its excesses, the way they go about in the conduct of their activities. This frequent clashes has now led some people to say that maybe we need a separate force or separate security outfit that should be in charge of border security. What's your take on this?
Well, for me, I want to believe that securing the border is nothing that is so difficult. It is not a tedious work. It's not an Herculean task to say. Securing the border, basically, I can put it in like we just need just 3 components, and one of them is personnel. The second one is technology, and finally, infrastructure. If the government is serious about securing the border, you have the customs already. What technology are they deploying to ensure that all of these leakages are being, nipped in the bud? These are the things I think we should talk about. Duplicating assignments will, further cost the country more in a time like this. So I don't want to subscribe to the school of thought that a separate security agency should be set up, but then I believe the custom can do better. Yes, we have the good ones from them, and then the majority of them are bad eggs. They just want to cash out and move. This same, Nigerian custom, that's why that borders on personnel and the training, and also their patriotism to their country. All of these are major key to securing the border. Because you see, if you have a custom, for instance, a custom officer that was, saddled with the responsibility of manning a particular point, and at the end of the day, the smugglers came around, they tip him, and you allow them go. This same custom will be the one to inform others that, look, some people are on this route already, they already left me, and those other sets will now go, lay ambush, get these people, further, get something from them and let them go. These are what has been happening over the years. So for me, I believe that we need to preach patriotism to the Nigerian Customs Service, particularly their men, and then we need to equip them the more. Infrastructure in terms of their vehicles and all of those. You talk about the technology, they can deploy all of this video surveillance in all of our porous areas. And, before you know it, we begin to get it right.
Now, let's talk about security operatives who normally mount both legal and illegal checkpoints, especially along that Owode-Diroko axis. So you've talked about corruption in the customs service. Some of them will just want to cash out, and they don't even check the excesses of the smugglers. They just want to get their own share, collect money, and then bounce, like you said. What exactly should the government do to this?
Well, let me say that policies have always been made by successive governments in Nigeria, and it is understandable that policies can be of negative to some people, and at the same time can never be perfect, so to say. The policy of shutting down the border, that's number one, which was pronounced by executive order of the President Muhammad Buhari-led administration then in August 2019, and also that of having petroleum products sold at 20 kilometers, to the border, has diverse effect on our people. And I must confess to you that it has also increased the level of illegality on that road. How do you explain somebody that left Idiroko for Owode, all because he believes that normally the 20 kilometer terminates at Okeodon? From Agilete down to Owode, that's where we can get fuel. So if you need petroleum product, you must travel from Idiroko to Owode or Agilete to get it. You now look at the cost of traveling down and going back, and add that to the cost of what you are getting. You see that before you know it, the petroleum product will have been purchased for over 1,500 naira. Now I am coming to your question, and that is how we can stop all of this. The first of it is, I think that the Nigerian borders, particularly that of Idiroko, where I represent, must be opened. Recently, the Senate committee came to, a particular committee came, visiting and they look at the situation of things. And for us, we heard that a report has been given to the president and that they are expecting the probably the assent or the pronunciation from the government that border should be open. Because one, majority of those security agencies were at the border in the day. But now that all of the activities in the border is shut down, they moved from the border, and then they have you have over 10 customs before you get to, what am I saying, close to 20 checkpoints of custom. You now begin to wonder, what are you checking that this one has not checked? Are you with me? You begin to look at it. But because they want to extort our people, because they want to take some kickbacks from them, they have divers of checkpoints. So what can we do? One is let the border be open. The major thing we do as a border community people is we walk from our border. There are different legal businesses that goes on from the border. Like me, my father happens to be a clearing agent. I have the experience in that same Idiroko border. A whole lot of them doing legal businesses. But when you get the border open, one, you have empowered the people again. Look at Abeokuta local government, for instance. There is zero presence of industries there. Why? The enablers are not there. Right? Yes, Governor Abeokuta has been trying. He's doing well. I'm still coming to that. But then in Abeokuta local government, there is zero presence of industries there. And the only thing we have that we eat, that we look, where we get our daily, bread, is that border. And then the border has been perpetually closed for years. So what do you expect from the people? An idle hand is the devil's workshop. So I want to say that one of the things that they can do to stem, all of this is, one, get the border open. Two, there should be orientation and reorientation, and ensure that these people, they learn what patriotism to their country is. It is not about giving them uniform and then they begin to parade themselves as this, as that. But then, are they patriotic to the country? These are the questions. Thank you.
Now, we've talked about the enablers, the absence of enablers and semblance of industrial investments and siting of industries in that particular axis, as against what we are seeing in the Shagamu axis and then near Abeokuta here when you're coming in from Lagos. What should the Dapo Abiodun-led administration do to drive trade and investment in this, particularly around the Idiroko border?
Well, thank you very much, Toby, again, for that wonderful question. I must give it to Prince Dapo Abiodun, CON, for his investment drive. If you look at the administration ever since inception, you see that he has been the governor that has driven in investment more into Ogun State. He has done quite a lot in terms of creating an enabling environment for all businesses to thrive, both private, public, and partnership, all of those. So I want to give it to the governor. Aside the natural factor that we have in Ogun State, the proximity to the border, to Lagos particularly, which is by nature, the governor has been doing a lot in terms of, building roads and all of these, and these are the enablers that we are talking about. These are things that will attract investors. Some months ago, maybe 2 months or thereabout, or maybe a month plus ago, the governor was in Egypt marketing Ogun State to investors. And a whole lot of things he has been doing. If you look at the Shagam axis now, yes, you discover that quite a lot is happening there. A lot of industries are, springing forth there. And I want to give it to him for that. He's doing extremely well in that regard. And let me also give it to the governor on this note that some weeks ago, he invited all the movers and shakers in the industries of Ogun State in a kind of breakfast meeting which I was privileged to be there as chairman of Committee on Industry, Trade and Investment. And he was able to, the people were able to, he was able to ascertain the people's problem, what is it that is facing them, confronting them in their businesses, what do they need and all of those. And then that is, to me, unprecedented. It is the first of its kind, and I believe that such will still happen according to him, so that the investors can be more safe in Ogun State. So I give it to him. Now going to Abeokuta local government. Well, I also want to appreciate him because he's doing a lot, particularly as regards to Ngeji Island, which is a oil-rich enclave. He's doing extremely well in that regard. Some 2 weeks ago, a week ago thereabout, he sent some delegation to Ngeji to see or to ascertain the level of infrastructural deficiency and all of those there. So he's doing extremely well. I want to appreciate him for that. But then as Oliver Twist, we still need to ask for more. The governor, at some point, if you look at the Abeokuta local government, first of it is education-wise, we are the farthest to university education. Some of us that were fortunate to be in the university, we did it because God wanted it to be. Yes, because if you look at the closest to us, the closest university to us is FUNAB, and that's about 78 kilometers away from us. How do you, that is not encouraging to the youth. What about if a university or a polytechnic, monotechnic, whatever is sited very, very close to them? What do you expect of the people? Quite a number of those that goes on doing bike men and all of those, we want to take advantage, we want to use that opportunity. So we are just calling on on our own listening governor, who is Anomoluabi to the core, to look at our side and smile on us, particularly on the issue of school, because if you look at the infrastructural decay that is happening at the then proposed Polytechnic of Moshood Abiola or thereabout, that the administration of Bikina Musun was, proposing then, the infrastructure that was built with taxpayers' money is in a sorry case and still they are decaying for nothing. So I believe that if the government can do something on that, to be a thing of joy to the people, and then the Ngeji Island, we're appreciating him in advance for it.
All right, we'll still talk more because I'm particularly interested in what the state government is trying to do with Ngeji Island. That's a major cash cow just waiting to be developed, not only when it comes to oil exploration, but also tourism potential of that particular island, especially when you consider that Benin Republic is trying to get hands on that particular island. All right, we'll take a break. When we come back, we'll continue with the roundtable. Don't forget, I still have with me OTUNBA BISI OYEDELE, a member of the House of Assembly representing Idiroko, Abeokuta State Constituency, and chairman of the House Committee on Trade, Industry, Trade and Investment. Stay with us, we'll be back.
Governor Dakwa Abiodun received the Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, Dr. Doris Uzoka Anite, who is on the familiarization work to industries in the Gateway State. Dr. Uzoka Anite applauded the state government for its developmental strides, saying the springing up of industries in the state was a confirmation of the conducive business environment and the availability of the necessary infrastructure that attracts investors.
Lessons that we've seen across the visits that we've had so far, and also to learn from you how you're doing it, how you've done it, and take some of your comments back for improvement, for areas where we have to look at to improve industrialization in the country. And more importantly, to share our support and to extend our solidarity to the state, that the federal government here.
The governor thanked the minister for the visit, noting that it will cement further relationship with the government at the center. He emphasized that the zone would record multiple processing companies willing to sign up to begin work in the zone in the next 1 year if the approval was given, saying out of the 6 special agro-processing zones, the state has the highest number.
So we have all these economic zones to ensure that the agro-produce that we have, Ogun State is conveniently being processed, and then, of course, the value addition, job creation, and they can either be exported through our airport or through seaport. And like I said earlier, we are continuously looking for how to ensure that things are ranking on the ease of doing business index.
While intimating the Minister of Effort to further attract investment to the state, the governor informed that his administration would soon sign a memorandum of understanding with his partner to commence the construction of deep sea port at Olokola to complete the circle of economic zones in the state.
You're welcome back. Still the roundtable on OGTV, the People's Telly. What we are looking at on the roundtable today is border security and trans-border trade and investment. Balancing the two. How do you balance security at the borders with trade and investment opportunities and activities in the border areas? We have in the studio OTUNBA BISI OYEDELE, member of the Ogun State House of Assembly representing Ijiroko, Ikpokia State Constituency, and the chairman of the House Committee on Industry, Trade and Investment. Before we went on that break, we were talking about Tongeji Island. You had earlier mentioned about that investment drive of His Excellency, the Governor of Ogun State. What are the deliverables? What is the timeline of these deliverables that you are looking at when it comes to Tongeji Island? It's been long we've been hearing about Tongeji Island. From past administration, I remember vividly during the administration of former Governor Otumba Daniel. It was also, sparsely talked about during the past administration of Senator Abeokuta Musu. Now it's also coming up. So that it doesn't just become another talking show. And then the administration of President Dr. Abeokuta will also lapse, and then we are back at where we are on Tongeji Island.
Thank you very much again, Toby. Well, I want to make it clear that there is no controversies over the ownership of Tongeji Island, as against the speculations that are out there that the Republic of Benin are trying to,
annex it.
Annex that opportunity. There is nothing of such. I can confirm to you that it's mere rumor. His Excellency Prince Dakwa Abiodun has been proactive in terms of doing the needful in that area. Like I said, he sent some delegations to the place to look at what exactly is happening there, and he was even supposed to visit there himself. Yes, the governor was supposed to visit, but some things, came up, and then it was not, and the visitation was rescheduled. And you agree with me that also, I think some 3 weeks ago there, about another officer, their head came around where the governor was, talking about how much he's interested in ensuring that we tap into the opportunity of Tongeji Island. So I want to say that I don't want to believe this is going to be one of those talk show. Like you said, I want to believe that the governor is going to be proactive and is going to do the needful as he has promised. All I am waiting for is his visitation, because the governor has promised that he will be coming to Tongeji to see things, for himself. So that we are expecting, and we are sure that before real soon, that will come to pass. I have said on the ownership of Tongeji that there is no controversy. It is owned by Nigeria, and the Nigeria Navy have their huge presence there. The governor is also supporting them as much as he can. But like I said, we await his visitation there in Tongeji. So overall, the governor, I want to say that he's doing well. You see, talking about the dry seaport, I want to divert a bit about the dry seaport that is doing. All of those are what will enable investors to come into Ogun State. Yes, we have the natural factor of proximity, but then you need to ensure that they have an enabling environment. Look at the agro-cargo airport that is being built almost in the stage of completion at Illusion there. So the governor, I want to just give it to him in terms of investment drive is doing extremely well. So, and that's it.
All right, in case you're just joining us, this is the roundtable, and we are looking at balancing border security and trans-border trade and investment. If you want to be part of the show or the discussion, you can call the phone number on the screen. Just look at that number, call, and then we'll gladly take your call and accommodate your opinion or possibly questions for our guests in the house. Honorable, let's quickly talk about the legislative house or the legislative arm of government in Ogun State. People have oftentimes labeled many assemblies as rubber stamps and questioned their autonomy and independence. So what are the challenges right now that the Ogun State House Assembly is facing when it comes to autonomy, both legislative and financial autonomy?
Well, thank you again, Toby. I will not want to dwell so much on that, but the Constitution is clear. Section 121, subsection 3A, as amended, is very, very clear and unambiguous, which stipulates that the houses of assembly across the country and their judiciaries are now first-line charge. I want to believe the Governors Forum have been working, seriously on this, as well as the Conference of Speakers. They have been meeting and, meeting over meeting and all of those. The person that is the Parliamentary Association of our workers, so to say, of Nigeria. They went on a warning strike sometimes around November thereabout, and it was agreed then that on 20th of January they gave a deadline. They gave a deadline, that's the union, gave a deadline of 20th of this month. So we are looking at what is going to happen. But one thing I know is that, and I believe, is that the Governors Forum, particularly Governor Dapo Abiodun, is a law-abiding governor.
So, excuse me, let's quickly take this call from Adeji from Mowe. We'll come back to that, Honorable. Adeji, thank you for calling the round table.
Hello?
Yes, we are with you, Adeji.
Okay, you're compliment.
Same to you.
I would like.
We are with you, Adeji. Oops. All right, I think we lost the call from Adeji. You can call back in case you're still watching. Adeji, you can call back. We'll gladly take your call.
Okay, thank you. Like I said, the governor is a law-abiding governor.
Yes.
He's a gentleman to the core. The governor is a believer and an advocate of the rule of law, who cannot pick and choose the part of the law to obey. I'm sure that by the time all of these discussions are over, the houses of assembly, by the grace of God, and the judiciary of the state will have their autonomy in due course, I'm sure, because the governor is a listening governor, and their collectiveness cannot produce more than for them to obey the law of the land. Is a constitutional provision, is there, and it has been since March last year. It has been, assented to. So we believe that the struggle over the years is just a struggle of, okay, what do we do, how the formation goes, and all of those. And this is what is happening at the moment. I assure you that the legislators and the judiciaries in due course will have their autonomy.
Okay, I think we have Comrade Imole calling from Ikpokia. Yes, Imole, thank you for calling.
Yeah, good morning, baby.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Yeah, I want to. Yeah, please, can you hear me, please?
We can hear you loud and clear.
Yeah, I want to appreciate the honorable for speaking out loud for people. That is a value of a good representation, and I would like to appreciate him. And I want to remind him to let the please help us tell the governor of Ogun State, Governor Abeokuta, to fast track the developmental project in our local government, so that what we are discussing is that further security and insecurity and believe that because our people, especially the young ones, they need things to lay their hands on so that they can take their mind off of vanity stuff.
All right, thank you. Imole from Abeokuta. All right. Okay, you want to quickly respond to that?
The governor of Ogun State, Prince Dapo Abiodun, as I've said, is a listening governor, and I'm sure that in a way or the other, all of these will be, relayed to him.
Are there ongoing and unfinished infrastructural projects in Abeokuta, just like Imole said?
Well, yes, there is this Ilashe Ojaodon Road that is under construction, but then we have a challenge on that road. The governor has done close to, I think, over 3 kilometers of the road, and in the first phase, that's in the first instance, and he has promised that he's going to, continue on that. We appreciate him so much. We give it to him. But then we have the same that has just been constructed are being destroyed and, kind of put into a state of uselessness by some what do I call them? I call them miners. Invasion of miners in our areas. They just come in, they buy land from our people, they begin to dig deep, mine and bring in heavy duty trucks. As I speak with you, they are already putting the road that has just been constructed not over maybe 7 to 9 months ago into a sorry case again. So I don't know what is to be done to that. It's been a topic of the day in my constituency. We have been going and looking at how do we, salvage the situation, because the governor himself will not even be encouraged by seeing all of this. So I want to maybe call on the ministry to look at this critically and look at what we can do, because at the same time they will say they are doing their businesses, but this road is not planned for them. It is not orchestrated for such heavy duties to be passing on. It's just a link road. It was just built as a link road from Ilashe to Ojaodon for the Yewa people to be able to assess ourselves. Cut across about 4 local government of Ogun West. And therefore, these miners are putting the road in a sorry case. Looking at what to do is where we are at the moment.
Okay. All right. If you still want to be part of the program, that's the number on the screen. We'll gladly take your call. Now, talking about trade and investments, Ogun State remains the investment destination of choice for many people. One, it is the most industrialized state, I beg your pardon, in Nigeria. What is very key in retaining the status is security, and that is what we are talking about. What's your assessment of the security of the state?
Well, thank you very much again, Toby. As it stands, Ogun State has over 5,000 industries to our credit. And like I said earlier, that by virtue of nature, we have a competitive advantage. And what do I mean? It's about our proximity to the borders as well as to Lagos. Lagos is filled up, and then investors want to look at, okay, where again? They want to come to Ogun State. And the more they come, the better for the state. And on security for these people, this is part of the issues that was discussed at the breakfast meeting that the governor, His Excellency President Abeokuta had with the movers and shakers of business in the state. It was discussed in detail. As a matter of fact, the governor promised that there was going to be a security police post in almost all industrial zones, so to ensure that those that are doing business are being, secured and all of this. So for me, I would want to say that you won't be seeing much of such investment coming in if they are not sure of their security. So I want to tell you that in terms of security of investors, Ogun State is doing well.
All right. Okay, do we have a caller? Hello? All right. Before we wrap up the show, there is a burning issue that we must discuss, and that is this ease of doing business in Ogun State. You chair a committee that borders on that. People have talked a lot about the ease of doing business, and Ogun State is not doing so well when it comes to the ease of doing business indices, even though the government is trying to work on that. What must the government do with the help of those who are in that sector, like you who chairs that committee in the House, to ensure that there is a seamless ease of doing business in Nigeria, especially for first-time investors who want to bring in their money?
Thank you very much again, Toby. Yes, I must tell you that on the ease of doing business index, I think we rank.
Okay, sorry, Honorable. I think we have Tunde. Tunde is calling from Abeokuta here. Good morning, Tunde. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Honorable OYEDELE.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah, there are two things I want to see this one and have your say on. We have noticed that most of the industries in Abeokuta and in the state, especially in the West, they have their factories there, but their head offices are usually located in Lagos. Meaning that they're located in Lagos, and so some or most of their taxes are done in the government. The most part of the pay of the staff that work in the industry, in the factories, that get related to the state. So if there is policy or the way to the state government and make sure that these companies locate their head offices or at least the regional office there in the state so that can actually the taxes be respected to us. That's number one. Then number two is that there are the government has to enforce to have a certain percentage of the working staff of this industry being teaching or speaking in. Is that possible? And how we ensure that is done in order to use the unemployment rate to state? Thank you very much.
Okay, Tunde from Abeokuta. Unfortunately, your line wasn't that clear enough, but I think if I get it correctly, he was also talking about the ease of doing business. Okay. He was saying that the concentration of most of the companies or industries in one particular location. And he also talked about the ease of doing business index, which you were talking on before his call. Then he talked about ensuring that job opportunities are created as we are welcoming investors, that they are, of course, the youth, the jobless youth or the employable youth of Ogun State are given priority.
Well, it is a truism that Ogun State and even Lagos and River State, we rank low at some point, while states like Sokoto and all, they take the lead in the ease of doing business index. But I want to say this to you very clearly, that the state government is doing all, is not leaving any stone unturned in terms of ensuring that the ease of doing business in Ogun State, rank as high as it can. I can confirm to you that as a new investor, one of the things that is needed is the property, the land where your industry will be situated. And if you look at some close to, before we had the new year in December, I think last week in December, the governor signed over 5,000 C of O, and these C of O's were distributed to different business owners that are just coming and those that are looking for expansion of their businesses. So a whole lot. And then also infrastructure facility is also part of that, which is used in rating the ease of doing business index. And the governor is also trying to look at how they can meet up, how we can surpass even the expectation of the people. So for me, I will tell you that by time 2024 ease of index ratio or whatever is brought out, you see how much Ogun State will rank on it. So and I think that's it.
All right, because of our time, this is where we draw the curtains on the round table. Thank you so much, all those who called. We appreciate every one of you. In particular, I want to appreciate my guest, OTUNBA OYEDELE, for finding time to be here on the round table.
Thank you very much, Toby.
Thank you so much for coming. All right, so join us next week, Monday, 10 to 11 a.m. on the round table as we continue to discuss the way forward when it comes to the socio-economic and political development of our dear state and our dear nation, Nigeria. Until then, continue to be law-abiding and patriotic citizens of Nigeria. I am Toby Joseph. Good morning.